Welcome to this weekend's edition of Mox News. I'm Jennison Owens.
And I'm Tia Rote. UTC Freshman Senate hosted a panel discussion to give students the opportunity to voice their opinion and their concerns. Some of the topics addressed were student parking, diversity among UTC students, and campus safety. Vice Chancellor Dr. Richard Brown says that new parking technology is being developed to tell drivers how many open spots there are in a parking lot. For more information about Chat or other concerns on UTC's campus, contact Student Government Association at 423-425-4296.
We're learning how long it will take for UTC Library to fully recover from recent flooding. The library flooded on the first and ground floors last week because of a sprinkler malfunction. The Dean of the Library, Teresa Lidka, explains further.
Sprinkler head, went off, and then they couldn't get the water off for anywhere reportedly from 45 minutes to an hour. We still don't have the specifics of the 911 call and when the firemen actually got it off, but the issue was the sprinkler went and then it ran for at least 45 minutes, we think, pushing 25 to 50 gallons of water out per minute all over the first floor, which then seeped through all the electrical outlets and the carpet and the ceiling tiles down to the ground floor, and then started hitting the books in random fashion because those floor plates are kind of randomly distributed. So that was the issue in terms of one sprinkler head caused a lot of damage.
Crews have been at work to repair the first floor. Dean Lidka hopes the ground floor will be open by spring break. UTC paid a $25,000 insurance deductible out of the emergency fund for the cost of repairs.
The new value parking pass for Ingle Stadium has officially sold out. UTC officials introduced the reduced rate tag to answer concerns about a lack of parking on campus. You can park at Ingle, then ride the Mox Express shuttle bus to campus. We will let you know when the passes go back on sale.
Tennesseans who want to vote in the March 1st presidential primary must register to vote by Monday. State officials recommend voters to take advantage of early voting because of unpredictable winter weather and an incredibly long ballot. Early voting begins Wednesday, February 10th, and lasts for 2 weeks. Tennesseans must bring a valid photo identification with them to the polls. More information is available at go-vote-tennessee.com or call toll-free for information at 877-850-4959.
The UTC Theater Department is back in production, rehearsing for the next play. To successfully pull off a production, you need some dedicated professionals behind the scenes. Here's some of the award-winning work by the UTC Costume Department.
I've spent most of my time in school doing costuming. The brown dress behind me was actually made for Hedda Gabler at UTC. We built it from a truly Victorian pattern, and I really loved making it because it's so detailed, and matching up the damask pattern was incredible, and I really liked doing weird, complicated things like that because it looks amazing when it's finished.
My favorite piece, that's a hard one. It would probably definitely have to be the tea gown that I worked on for our Hedda Gabler show. It was one of my first pieces where I got to fully construct it from the very beginning, where we started with muslin all the way up to the actual finished product, which people saw on stage. It was fantastic seeing something just come to life from a book.
So this is my entry to the SETC Costume Crafts Contest, Southeastern Theater Conference. It's supposed to be a dress made for the Merry Wives of Windsor. I took a lot of inspiration from nature because the show is very natural, like a lot of Shakespeare's comedies, and it ends the final scene is them running around in a garden. That's why most of it is flowery. It's kind of bright, and it's supposed to be light, reflecting the feel of the show. In the theater department, there's performance and production, and then there's also assistantships for people who are a little more advanced, and then I've been able to do both. And with that, I've been able to spend over 20 hours a week in the shop, honing in on that craft and learning.
Never be afraid to try new skills, because when I first came here, I was as intimidated working with someone who has spent a good portion of her life creating such beautiful things, and how could I ever, come to a fraction of that? And just getting myself out there and just seeing what I could do after I got to it, It's just fantastic feeling just to know that you can sit there and create something that's beautiful. So just never give up and always keep trying new things.
The next production for UTC's theater department is Arms and Man. It debuts soon.
The music you hear next time for movies and games could be composed by a UTC alum.
Here's the story of Casey Edwards in his own words.
But why, some say, the moon? Why choose this as our goal?
That would be the first time Dr. McNair arranged for me to play a piece I wrote for orchestra with the orchestra, because he knows that that was my first love. I came in with the big idea, of course. I didn't want to start small. I immediately wanted to dive into the 60, 80 players in a room kind of thing. But no, by the time I got there, he arranged for me to have I wrote a piece. They said I could have it practiced and maybe performed. And yeah, I'll never forget that day. Getting to see, multiple people in the room trying to bring something to life that we had written on for a few weeks or months, probably months for me at that time. So yeah, that was my moment. Scary but satisfying, and I learned a lot of what I did wrong on that day, which is super important. Because that way when you get to do it more and more professionally, you stop doing the wrong things and start doing the right things. I would ask what their goals are. I feel like someone who doesn't maybe have an appreciation for the traditional arts yet, which I don't think I did actually when I started coming here. I had played music in band since I was in 6th grade, so I had a love for music, but I feel like I would try to teach them what thinking about music inwardly can do for them. I feel like a lot of things today are hit the space bar and hit play and hear what you wrote on your computer for instant satisfaction, but maybe not the real thing that's going to happen when you put someone in front of their music. So I feel like that would be the first thing, trying to teach someone how important feeling music inwardly can be rather than just hearing it come out of your speakers. So I know it sounds really, really personal, but that would be the thing, because I'd never been to a master class before coming here, and getting to see the way pianists talk to other pianists about phrasing, lifting their fingers a certain way for a certain sound. To me, I just thought every time you hit a piano it made the same sound no matter who touched it. And I just don't think that's the truth. So I think it's that kind of thing, the emotional side of things. And of course, if you want to be able to orchestrate, then you better learn with somebody who knows how to orchestrate. Composition, being able to know composition techniques can make you write very quickly and better. So yeah, that kind of stuff. That's a hard one. I don't know, work hard, I guess. I feel like they give you a lot of the tools here, but you kind of have to run with it. I was in the library a lot, alone, studying scores that either Dr. McNair would recommend or I would hear through videos or other people. I feel like if you don't pick up the ball and try to practice the tools that they're giving you to work with, then you might be left in the dark a little bit or unsatisfied when you leave. So maybe, yeah, hashtag work hard. I feel like that's the only one, yeah.
Are you Career Day ready? UTC's Career and Employment Center was very busy this week. Tuesday, the center had various faculty members go through the UC to talk to students about next week's upcoming Career Day. The center also hosted a Pitch Perfect seminar Wednesday and Resume Doctor walk-in on Friday. All UTC students and alumni are invited to attend a Career Day event in McClellan Gymnasium next Wednesday. The event starts at 10 a.m. and ends at 2 p.m. Over 100 businesses will be there to help students find jobs for summer and throughout the year. The Career and Student Employment Center would like to remind students to dress to impress.
With award season well underway for television shows and movies, the Oscars has sparked racial controversy between the public and some actors. We asked how they felt about Oscars So White in this week's What's Poppin' Mox.
It ain't poppin'. Poppin' wants to poppin'.
This month, the Oscar nominations were revealed, and aside from the usual speculation of who would win, many people believed one thing was missing: the presence of African American nominations.
I do feel like, I don't know why, there are a lot of good African American actors who should have been nominated. I don't know why they were not, and I don't think, they gave a good enough reason why they were not nominated, and so I do think it's kind of biased.
I'm a little shocked, mainly because Will Smith is one of my favorite actors, and I watched the Concussion movie, and I thought he did an amazing performance.
I think it is something that shouldn't really be brought up, I guess. I feel like the more we talk about segregation and like whether blacks and whites, just like all that, I feel like when we bring it up and talk about it, we make it more of an issue than what it really is.
To me personally, I just use that as encouragement, you know what I'm saying, to go further and do better, you know what I'm saying, next year. It's like, you know, like if you really, really want something, you're going to go get it no matter what. So if we really want this change, we're going to go get it. Nothing's going to stop us.
The list has caused such an uproar that it has people tweeting and commenting on the issue, many using the hashtag #OscarsSoWhite. Even celebrities have given their opinions on the controversy. Actresses Jada Pinkett Smith and Stacey Dash have given their opposing views on the topic. Here's what they had to say.
Maybe it is time that we pull back our resources and we put them back into our communities, into our programs, and we make programs for ourselves that acknowledge us in ways that we see fit.
We have to make up our minds. Either we want to have segregation or integration. And if we don't want segregation, then we need to get rid of channels like BET and the BET Awards and the Image Awards, where you're only awarded if you're black. If it were the other way around, we would be up in arms. It's a double standard.
And here's what UTC students had to say on their comments.
I support Jada Pinkett Smith because it doesn't make sense for people to be like, oh, let's get rid of Black History Month and let's get rid of like celebrating African Americans if we want equality. Because if that's the case, if we never boycotted, we would still be in the back of the bus. We just sat down and was like, okay, this is the norm, this is what we're gonna go with. We would have never accomplished anything.
I definitely agree with Stacey Dash just because I feel like the more we separate ourselves, like the more we are continuing like segregation in a way. To have like your only black channel, it is kind of like, well then why should you be on any other channel?
There have been speculations that there will be a change to the Oscars in the future, but our students have an idea of how the Oscars will be affected in the years to come.
I think that it would be a change because I heard something. This is the second year in a row where there hasn't been any African American actors or actresses in it. Right. Yeah. So I feel like there is going to be change.
In our culture, you know, there's two ways that you can identify a problem. I feel like you can either, you know, walk straight through it or you can walk around it and try not to, you know, step on people's toes. And I feel like if we, you know, just ignore it, you know, hey, we're going to start our own thing up, you know, we're going to do this and walk around it. I mean, I feel like that's really not going to, you know, ignore the situation. I feel like there's going to be still that segregated mindset between, you know, us being blacks and them being whites.
Yeah, I definitely think it'll affect the amount of views, I guess just the feedback, just because not only is there like a large black community in the nation that probably watches that.
The 2016 Oscars will air February 28th, so we shall see how the ratings will be affected. Until then, make sure you check back next week on Mox News to see what's poppin'.
That does it for this edition of Mox News. Thank you for joining us. Check out our videos uploaded throughout the week to YouTube.
We air on the UTC TV channel and Housing Channel 2.1, so tune in and have a great weekend from all of us here at Mox News.